All right, let's talk about this big weekend against Penn State. You split with them. We split the week before that. What changed over this past weekend against a strong Penn State team?
Yeah, we didn't play, I think, as well defensively as we have. Obviously, you give up 11 goals on the weekend. That's way too many. You're not going to win many hockey games when you're giving up an average of, over 5 goals a game. So, but on the flip side is we played with a lot of resiliency. We got behind in both games after 2 periods, and we battled. We kept battling. So that's a good sign. But we've got to get off to better starts, and we have to play much better defensively. That starts from the goaltender through the defenseman. To our forwards. So, in the last 3 games, you look at goals against, 6, 4, 7, 17 goals in 3 games. That's way too much. So we know what we need to work on. Now it's just finding a solution and working on that. But 2 different series. Notre Dame, not a high-scoring team, and then you go to Penn State where, they're one of the top 4 teams in the country in goals for last year, and they're number 1 by a wide margin this year. So to get a split on the road is, you're especially when you win Friday, you're not happy. You want to make sure you try and get that second game, and points are so valuable in the Big Ten that anytime you give a point away, it hurts. And I felt like on Saturday we scrapped so hard to get back in the game, to get a tie, to take it overtime. We had all the momentum, and then 6 seconds in, we just give up that winning goal. So tough pill to swallow for sure.
I think I heard until Friday's game, you'd scored in the 3rd period in 2 of the last 5 games. What changed in Friday's game to get that scoring going in the 3rd period?
Well, part of it I think is we'd had a tough day. Obviously Thursday, we didn't get in until Friday about 1 o'clock and had to play. And we just talked after the 3rd period. We weren't going to have any excuses after the Friday game because of our travel situation. So let's go and play hard. And we did. I think we played with some urgency and some desperation, and that really showed in the game. It showed in both games. Now we have to play with that same urgency and desperation all game, both offensively, but more importantly defensively. So I think that was part of it. They made, and then Saturday, I think having done it Friday, we felt like we were in the same position. We just went out and we played well offensively all weekend. So now they're a team that maybe not as strong defensively as some other teams. So that was probably part of it.
What was the decision to play Strauss both games? We had talked about that last week.
Yeah.
What was the decision to play him not just Friday but Saturday?
He won on Friday, and we just felt that we wanted to see what he could do back to back. We've seen Hayden back to back last year, and but for the young kid like Strauss, we wanted to see how he could handle it. And he played well. You say, well, 7 goals against. He played pretty. There's probably 1, maybe 2 he'd like back, but for the most part, he played well. And it was good to get him in both games and just see what he can do in a tough environment. Against a team that scores the most goals in the country. What are you thinking, Coach? But throwing the freshman into that. But we've got to find out what he's made of and how he can hold up in tough situations like that. I thought he did a good job for the most part. All those goals aren't on him; it's on our team.
It is still early in the week and all that, but do we expect to see him at least one time this coming weekend?
Oh, well, I would think so. He's won, I think, 4 games for us, 4 or 6 maybe. So he finds a way to win hockey games. That's important.
Has he earned that true number 1 goalie position on the depth chart?
I don't think I don't think we have a number 1 at this point. I think we've got 2 guys who are 1A and 1A plus, so it's both can play, both can win, but we have to get some consistency there too, and that's what we're searching for.
What things do you look forward to going into this holiday weekend, short weekend in terms of practice for you guys with Thanksgiving?
Right.
How do you prepare for that going into this with a big weekend against Wisconsin?
Yeah, it's not your normal week. You have a little more distractions with Thanksgiving being Thursday. We're about family here. You want to let your players go home and enjoy their families and spend time with them, but when we get back here on campus Friday morning, we've got to make sure that our minds are in the right spot, and we have to make sure we convey that to our players and make sure we have a good pregame skate on Friday and get ready to go, because these are important points. We have 5 of our next 6 at home, and it's an important stretch for us. If we can take care of our home field advantage, home ice advantage, we'll be in good shape. But you have to go and do it. Wisconsin's not going to give it to you. they're scrappy right now too, and they're desperate for wins. So we've got to make sure we're playing an injured Badger, and you don't want to deal with any injured animal like that. They're dangerous, so we got to make sure we're ready to play.
Just going back a little bit to the resiliency. Do you think like having that comeback Friday gave them the confidence in Saturday's game? Like they knew they'd done this before, they could do it again.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if you've done anything before, you have an idea of what your expectations are. We have enough guys that can score, so even if we get down a couple or 3 goals, you never feel out of it. You know, with this team, you just go through the roster, and more guys are starting to put the puck in the net. It's good for Garrett Van Way to get his first goal. Good for Raby to pick up another goal. Pastor Job's not got another couple. Becker scoring. So we've got more guys